We spent the last few episodes getting to know the creator of RhythmSpeak, their journey, their influences, their vision. But there's one thing that's been bugging me.
Oh.
It's this whole idea that they don't consider themselves a dancer.
Right.
I mean, come on, they're creating this language built on movement. It's called RhythmSpeak, not rhythm dance.
Yeah.
In this episode, I don't dance. I speak rhythm, no right angles.
Yeah.
They really double down on this idea.
Interesting.
And then there's this whole thing about avoiding right angles. It's like, why would you intentionally avoid something so fundamental to structure, especially in a language of movement?
It might seem counterintuitive, but it's actually a way to break free from those preconceived notions about how a language should be structured.
Okay.
Think about it. Curves are everywhere in nature, from the flow of a river to the branches of a tree.
Yeah.
Right angles, on the other hand, are primarily found in human-made structures.
Okay.
Buildings, roads, furniture.
I see what you're saying.
By avoiding right angles, RhythmSpeak is aligning itself with the organic flow of nature with the way our bodies naturally want to move.
Okay, I'm starting to see how that could create a sense of freedom and fluidity.
Yeah.
But how does that actually translate into the movements themselves? Can you give me an example?
Well, imagine a simple movement like reaching out your arm.
Okay.
In traditional dance forms, you might see a very sharp angular extension with the arm held straight out at a 90-degree angle.
Right.
But in RhythmSpeak, that same movement might involve a more gradual curved extension with the arm flowing outwards in a more organic wave-like motion.
So it's not just about the shape of the movement, it's about the quality of the movement as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where the whole mover versus dancer distinction comes in.
Right.
Dancer might focus on hitting those sharp angles with precision,
Yeah.
while a mover in RhythmSpeak would prioritize the smoothness and fluidity of the motion.
So they're both expressing themselves through movement, but their intentions and their approaches are fundamentally different.
Exactly.
This is making me think about that video we saw where the creator demonstrates that kind of rippling motion through their whole body. It's like they're embodying that flow of water you were talking about.
Yes, and by doing so, they're not just moving beautifully.
Right.
They're conveying a message.
I see.
It's almost like every curve, every shift in weight becomes part of a sentence in this new language of movement.
Which brings us back to the induction frame, right? It's not just about showcasing those moves, it's about formally documenting them as part of lexicon.
That's right.
But I'm still a bit fuzzy on how it all comes together.
Well, the induction frame is like a blueprint for understanding each movement within the context of RhythmSpeak.
Okay.
It provides this incredibly detailed breakdown of each movement. A video demonstrating the move, the official RhythmSpeak lexicon, where it's formally inducted information about its category performance metrics.
Wow.
There are even sections for grammatical details, reference numbers for tracking, and language translations. It's almost like they're creating a dictionary and a grammar textbook simultaneously, but for a language that's expressed through movement rather than words.
Wow, that's a lot more intricate than I initially realized.
And it highlights the level of intentionality behind RhythmSpeak.
Yeah.
The creator isn't just making this up as they go along, they're building a structured system of communication, one that's designed to be both expressive and accessible.
But if it's so structured, how can it also be fluid and adaptable? Isn't that a contradiction?
It's not a contradiction. It's a dance between structure and freedom.
Okay.
You need the structure to provide a framework for understanding, but you also need the freedom for individual expression.
Yeah.
Think about it like jazz music.
Okay.
You have the melody, the rhythm, the harmony. But within that structure, there's so much room for improvisation.
That's a really interesting comparison.
Right.
So it's not just about learning a fixed set of movements. It's about understanding the underlying principles of RhythmSpeak and then using those principles to create your own unique expression. So in a way, the rejection of right angles is not just about aesthetics. It's about embracing a more organic and intuitive way of moving and communicating.
Precisely.
But how does this unconventional approach actually translate into meaning?
Yeah.
How do you go from a series of curved movements to a coherent message?
Right.
This is where I start to get lost.
That's where the true genius of RhythmSpeak lies.
Okay.
The creator has developed a system for encoding meaning into these movements, but it's not a simple one-to-one correspondence like you might see in sign language.
Okay.
It's more nuanced, more layered, more open to interpretation.
So it's not just about learning a set of gestures that correspond to specific words or concepts.
No, it's about embodying the essence of an idea or emotion through movement.
Oh.
It's about using your body to tell a story, to paint a picture, to evoke a feeling.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah,
But I have to admit, it's a lot to wrap my head around.
right.
Could you give me an example of how a specific emotion might be expressed through a RhythmSpeak movement?
Well, imagine you want to convey a sense of joy.
Okay.
You might see a series of upward expansive movements,
Mm-hmm.
with the body reaching towards the sky, the limbs flowing outwards in a celebratory gesture.
I can almost see it now, a burst of energy radiating outwards, like a flower blooming in fast motion.
Exactly, and that's just one example. The
Yeah.
possibilities are truly endless.
So it's not just about creating beautiful movements, it's about imbuing those movements with meaning and emotion.
Precisely.
This is where it gets really interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah,
We're not just talking about a new dance style.
right.
We're talking about a whole new way of understanding communication, a way of expressing ourselves that goes beyond words.
And it all starts with the rejection of right angles, with the embrace of the natural flow of the human body.
Mhm.
It's a simple concept with profound implications.
This has given me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Where do we even go from here?